Hey everyone, welcome. This is our normal Wednesday webinar series. Every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, we host a 30-minute conversation with a leader in education who understands where they are having success and what tips we can apply to our work. We have three primary goals. The first goal is have fun. The second is learn one new thing. And the last one is make one new friend. I'm Jaber Brazil, your host, and unlike normal webinars, our setup is a little bit is designed to be a little bit interactive. So please feel free to leave your video on, but go ahead and mute yourself. And if you have any questions or comments, you can just put those into chat as we're going through it. Last week, we hosted Dr. Charles, principal at LA Unified School District, who gave us easy and practical ways to get student voice at scale. Next week, we have a special session with Back to School Summer Games Jeopardy Edition, hosted by our very own Ryan Royer, who is our strategic solutions architect here at Parsec. Yeah, he does a lot of other things too, by the way. And if you don't know Ryan, I promise you it'll be a really good time.
For sure.
For sure. Thank you, Melanie. We are all facing budget pressure. This has been a crazy season, I would say, 2025. And we really don't know what's around the corner in 2026, except probably tighter budgets. So, with that, we've pivoted our Measure What We Value Summit to be singularly focused on aligning every dollar to what matters most. We'll be hosting 300 school leaders, board members, and educators around that single focus. Our keynote speaker is AJ Crable. He will be unpacking strategies from his book, Great on Their Behalf, including his Aligning Resources workbook. This will help us all prioritize our investments so that we have the highest academic return on investment. So you'll want to secure your position. You can see the link there to register, parsecsummit.com. You will not want to miss this event. It is a great event put on here locally in Fresno, California. I just can't underscore enough the value that you can expect to get out of this summit, and not just the content with AJ Crable. Of course, that's going to be fantastic, but also the opportunity to be able to partner with your peers and hear what they are doing. So, with that, I am going to get to our introductions. We are joined today by two special guests. Dr. Michelle Darchuk is the lead integration, words are hard for me, sorry, is the lead learning integration specialist here at Parsec Education, where she helps districts bring data to life in service and student success. Parsec was founded in 2018 and headquartered in Fresno, California. Parsec supports over 200 districts and employs a growing team here in Fresno and Nashville. Prior to joining Parsec, Michelle served on the advisory committee at the U.S. Department of Education and held senior leadership roles at organizations such as Catapult Learning and Springboard Collective. She also brings over a decade of classroom experience, which grounds her work in the reality of teaching. She is joined by Melanie Matta, superintendent and principal of Hope Elementary School District. Melanie was named to the role in March of 2018, now on her 14th year of administration, with 24 years in education overall and a decade in the classroom. Hope is built on a legacy dating back to the original Pedrosa School of 1870, with K-8 district enrollment around 230 students from Porterville, California, and serves a predominantly Title I community. Melanie is a doctoral student. She is also the founder of the Ed Leadership Lab, where she's created the Innovative Leaders 90-Day Entry Plan, a leadership guide that supports new school leaders with their transition into leadership. Melanie also offers mentorship and coaching services to leaders in education. Now, one of my favorite slides is this one right here. Hope Elementary had the largest normative growth in California in math in 2018, had major gains in ELA despite the pandemic, and continues to post proficiency gains year over year. You'll see it again, so the little bird has told me, in 2025 as those results are made public. All right, with that, Michelle, I'm handing it over to you.
All right, thank you, Jamin. So, for those of you who are on our call, welcome. We're so excited to have you here. But we just want to open up with a nice little poll to kind of get to know you a little bit better. Which of these resonates most with you when building family trust in your data? Go ahead and drop the number into the chat. 1, listening to families. 2, using family input to guide decisions. 3, getting clearer feedback with the right tools. Or 4, highlighting and celebrating successes. Go ahead and drop your favorite into the chat. Seeing some 3s. Oh, and a 2. All 4. Awesome. See a 1, 2, 3.
I know you asked for just one, but I feel like they're all equal for me.
I know, I totally get it. As a mom and as a former educator, yeah, understanding everything from parents is super helpful. All right, well, that actually puts us in a really good place because now we understand kind of what you were looking for too as you joined this webinar. And I'm really excited to get started with soon to be Dr. Matta today, Melanie. Melanie, as you've heard, has done amazing work with her school community and has used qualitative data collection very meaningfully to be able to make her community members feel seen, heard, and valued. So today we're focusing on Melanie's work with one of our products, which is called Parsec Real. So you'll learn how Melanie used data that she collected to make a more humanizing approach to talking with her parent community, how she prepared that parent-facing feedback while using our product Parsec Real, and key pitfalls to avoid when trying to communicate progress to parents. I think we can move forward on the slides. Awesome. All right, and so on the next slide, you'll see that as I mentioned earlier, we're going to focus on one of our products, our qualitative analysis product, Parsec Real. Parsec Real is an interview tool that allows school systems to conduct interviews with their education partners at scale. So you'll be able to see in just a few minutes the number of parents that Melanie engaged with. Another key feature of Real that as a former educator I think is the most impactful is that once your interviews have completed, Real actually leverages AI to analyze all of your responses and create high-level sentiment analysis, as well as themes and trends. Any qualitative researchers in here know that you typically have to do that by hand, so it's really, really nice. And it helps you to kind of make those action-oriented decisions based on the themes and trends that you're receiving. This is really the point of Parsec Reels. So system leaders like yourselves can easily use this data to make those decisions based on the feedback that you're getting from your education partners. So today, Melanie is going to speak about not only her work with increasing her parent engagement, but also those themes and trends that she was able to uncover so that she could take action-oriented steps to support her families with this project.
Oh my gosh, we have had such phenomenal growth in our parent engagement because of Parsec Real. So like everybody else, we would give out the typical Google survey or, a survey that, we kind of hand created and gave to parents. But we found typically the same parents over and over would be the ones that would respond. And it was maybe a handful of people, right? I mean, we all know those parents. They all either love you or they think the school is falling apart and want to let you know immediately. And so those two handfuls of people, I knew their feedback all the time, but I wanted to know everybody else's. And so when we joined up with Parsec and got the Parsec Real platform, I asked the parents one question: what do you love about Hope School? So that really got the majority of our parents participating in what they love about Hope School. And as you read, one of those responses is because we encourage her daughter to be her best self. I mean, these kinds of this kind of feedback for us was so critical because while a survey, they mark a bubble or they click a bubble, that doesn't tell you all of the real deep feedback that you actually need. This feedback for me was crucial because I know that this working parent, or I I think I know who this parent is, but this is a working parent, and she drops her child off. She's a single mom, and she just loves that her daughter is given not only the great academics that we offer here, but that she's always safe all day long. So that was super huge. So going from, a handful of responses, typically around 10, now we're getting over 45. And we don't have a whole lot of families. We're a small school. So that's really huge for us. We have about 70, 75 families. So getting 45 out of the 75 is pretty big for us. So again, that was, what do we love about Hope School? Most of our participants all answered back with the text. I think maybe one might have answered back with voice and none with video, but those options are there, right? And then it translates into Spanish. So our Spanish speaking parents didn't feel left out either, and they responded in Spanish. And what's so super great about the platform is that it translates all of that back for us. And then the best part about the platform is I don't have to go in and analyze every single detail or every single response and quantify all of that and then put it out in, on a spreadsheet and all those things. Parsec Reel does it all for me. It gives me all of the data right at my fingertips to know, are the majority of responses positive? Are they negative? Are they neutral? And then what was the sentiment analysis around all of these responses? That is huge. So I don't have to go through every single response to see what exactly my parents are saying. I can go to the sentiment analysis and then I can kind of break it down from there. This platform is absolutely amazing and super engaging with my parents, but not just with parents. And I know that this is what this one is about, but it's super engaging with the kids too. I have asked the kids so many questions and have received so much deeper feedback than I ever thought I could receive. Just here recently, I asked them a question about, do you feel safe at school? And I had an overwhelming response of no. And I was shocked. Like, you're telling me that you don't feel safe at school? And as I read further into it, we have a new officer that shows up at our school, and he just comes to play with the kids. But our upper grade kids whose windows face the parking lot see that car parked, and they think that he's here for a different reason. So that immediately told me, oh, I've got to do a better job at communicating when our officer is on campus so that they don't think he's here for a reason that, is detrimental to their physical safety. So that was huge for me. Another huge thing, kind of going back to parents, is we do have parents that did say some negative things about our school. But they were really, really honest. So instead of just, marking a bubble like do not agree, now I know to the degree that they do not agree. And they were really honest about those responses. So I really appreciated that. So again, our response rate is super high now, not just with parents, but with kids and our staff. I'm able to take all of that information, and now instead of just kind of keeping it all to myself, I'm able to farm that out to our families. And that's super huge. So now they know exactly what the sentiment of the entire school was. They know that their feedback actually matters, that I look at it, that I give it to our school community. And now everybody, it feels like they're truly engaged in the educational setting. Whether they come to school or not, they truly feel that sense of belonging because they're a part of that feedback loop that we have. So I also use it for staff meetings. And this last year, I had a really, really big staff development, and I could feel over the course, not this year, but the year prior, that the energy was shifting. The energy really went from, we've got this, we're doing this, all the things, to, I can't do this anymore, Melanie. I'm burnt out. And to be honest, I was burnt out too. And so we had kind of a back to school retreat for several days. And before the retreat, I was able to put out a reel and ask them some pretty simple questions. And from those questions, I got a lot of great responses about how they were feeling, what they were overwhelmed with, what the pulse of the campus was, because I thought I had the pulse down pretty well. But what I found were some underlying things that could easily be fixed. And all of this is anonymous. So they're not, marking a, usually you'll get a Google poll or a Google form and it logs your email or whatever. Like, they didn't want any of that. And so a super great component of this platform is that all of my staff could respond without knowing who they were. They didn't have to give up any sort of identifying information. They could just answer the question. So if they wanted to answer via text or voice or video, either way, I did have one answer through video, and she was actually pretty honest, which was great. But a lot of them answered via text. As the retreat went on, they continued to respond in a really positive way on Reel. And so I continued to use that with them throughout this last school year. And it was just dynamic, powerful. And again, I could synthesize all that information with the touch of a button or just the look at the screen and be able to send that out to them. I could send certain ones out to them that really resonated with our staff. So I could email or screenshot or whatever. Like I did when our parents responded, I screenshotted several for them and sent it out so that they knew what our parents were saying, like in real time as they started to come in. And all of those positive responses just lit up my staff like, oh my gosh, they do appreciate us, or they value this. And so just being able to send all of those things off to them was amazing. And like I said, being able to include the parents as true partners in our educational process was pretty key for us. Bringing students in as well. So I started with parents. I went with teachers next, and then we brought students in next, and being able to get all of that input. So one of the things through the process last year when I met with teachers was Spirit Circle. We have a weekly Spirit Circle that all of our kids join in on and all of our staff, and it's really a fun time. But as time continued to progress, it started not being fun. And so we gave the students an opportunity to give feedback on Spirit Circle. Do you want to have Spirit Circle every week? Is this the way you want it to designed? What we found was once a week was a little bit too much for them. Then they were like, okay, well, let's try it twice a month. Perfect. So then we were like, well, is the adults talking too much for you? Do you want more student interaction, more student led? And so we were able to get all of that feedback from them, which was outstanding. They gave us more feedback than I think they've ever given us about initiative that we wanted to try. And we totally revised Spirit Circle on their feedback, and they loved it. There were also some things that they wanted to change. So they kept coming back like, okay, can we revise this? Now, can we revise that? Because they really felt a part of the process. And Parsec Reel really helped us start designing questions and a platform for them to give their input without, I guess, being known, because a lot of them didn't want their opinions known to us. Like I said, we're a very small school, and so we kind of know our personalities and students. And so they just wanted to remain anonymous, which was great because we could take all of their feedback anonymously and design a program that really fit them, and that worked for all of us. Any questions on anything that I've talked about so far? It's been a lot.
One of the things I wanted to highlight is I saw a statistic yesterday. 70% of students don't feel like their input is used. And it's fascinating to me how you're closing that loop by not just gathering the data and analyzing it and doing something, but then also circling it back to change.
Yeah. Another thing, I know this is about parents, but students are super important as well. My after school program wasn't doing well at all, and students were getting write-ups left and right from the program. And so I put out a reel to my after school kids, and I was like, what's working, what's not working? I asked all kinds of questions. Really, I asked 4 or 5 questions. And the feedback that I got from them was outstanding. They were like, Mrs. Matta, I don't want to do PE in the after school program. We just got done doing an hour of PE at the end of our regular school day. So can we change up the program? Yeah, absolutely. And so with all of their feedback through Reel, I was able to get, again, a sentiment analysis to really hone in on, is this just 1 or 2 loud kids, or is this the entire group that's feeling this way? And it was really the entire group. And so we were able to kind of sit down together and make some agreements on how we were going to restructure the after school program so that they wanted to be there and participate and do all of the things. They offered suggestions for things, which we incorporated, but all of that came from giving them a reel that they could uniquely respond to or authentically respond to. And that was really a game changer for us. It's been a game changer for our parents, for our teachers and staff, and our students. And so how can you all do this? It's super easy. Partner with Parsec. They have amazing staff that will literally walk you through the whole process. They even have staff that will come up with questions for you. If you don't know the right questions to ask, you can bounce your ideas off of them and they will give you suggestions on how to make your reel super effective for what your intents and purposes are. And then I noticed that when I kept my questions super short, the parents were more likely to respond. Something super simple was far more effective than maybe a multi-question question or a longer question that they really had to think deeply about. Know your audience, because my parents didn't so much want to think deeply. They just wanted to have that simple question and be able to respond very simply. And so making those human and accessible are super key for them. And then again, share that feedback back out. They need to know, those parents need to know that they just didn't do this in vain. They needed to know that what they said matters. They needed to know what other people felt, and if they were aligned in their feelings or if they were malaligned. And if they were malaligned, well, then that kind of lets them know, my thinking that, my kid wasn't safe here wasn't very accurate, because 90% of the parents felt their kids were safe. So maybe I need to have a conversation with the principal about that. And so all of those things are super important to make sure that we are connecting all of our parents right back to us. And so the question to you is, can you go back one slide? What's one, I know that we have a bunch of people that will see this later, but thinking, what's one question that you could ask your families right now that it would invite real and super honest responses from them? And then time for questions.
Yes, any Q&A.
Is Wendy still with us?
She is. Well, as we're waiting for that, I do want to highlight again the importance of looking at the Parsec Summit 2026 school year. It's the first week of Black History Month and hosted here again in our very own Central California, which is in the backyard of most of our partners that we work with. So it's a great opportunity to be able to learn from one of the leading minds in education relative to aligning specific initiatives that you have, but then also the budget dollars that are associated with those initiatives.
Jamin, I've been there both years. I presented last year. This summit is hands down one of the summits that I will not miss. And I've been to a lot of professional development with SSDA, with ASA, with AXA. This one, it empowers you, makes you think differently, gives you real-time resources that you can use with kids right now. Super powerful 2-day summit. Don't miss it.
Yeah, and then we were bolting on to the beginning, a 2-day pre-event, which is hosted by AJ Crable. And that is specifically for board members and superintendents. So, you know, it's a great opportunity to lock arms with your chairperson or board member and then attend that session. And again, that is really aligned to the topic of maximizing the effort that you're putting into your, because it isn't just money, it's time and sweat and tears. And so really making sure that we're all categorically aligned and paying attention to the right things. That's such a big win for students at the end of the day. All right, great. So if you'd like to learn more information on how you may employ Parsec Real across your population, whether it's students, teachers, faculty members, parents, community members, whatever, feel free to drop an email to hello@parseceducation.com. I wanted to say thank you again to Melanie Matta and Dr. Darchuk for attending or speaking today. And Melanie, that was just very generous of you, and I very much appreciate the feedback that you gave us.
Absolutely. And I did tell my business manager, because she was like, Melanie, we've got to start cutting some stuff. We've got budget cuts everywhere. And I was like, you're not cutting Parsec products. I just want you to know that if we have to sacrifice anything, it's never going to be Parsec. Flat out.
Thank you for that.
That makes me want to cry.
I mean,
Melanie.
I'm not just tooting your horn. I did literally have that conversation with her 2 weeks ago. I'm like, whatever we have to do, we are not cutting Parsec Real, because it is super important for our families. It's super important for our kids. It's super important for our staff. I mean, we have the gamut of products right now, and Real by far has been a game changer for us in ensuring that we're measuring what we value in terms of our parents, kids, staff, all the things.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, qualitative feedback really it's so underutilized because it's so arduous to, one, gather the feedback, and second, analyze the feedback. And so being able to do that with your, again, whatever target population you want, but for video, audio, and text, and then have that information synthesized. I mean, you know, it's quite literally having a conversation at scale, which is the whole intention of a survey instrument anyways. But it just does it in a human way, which is why we're seeing such great response rates. So anyway, Melanie, thank you. Michelle,
Thank you.
thank you. Everybody else, hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll hope you'll tune in next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Bye.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, Melanie.